This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing the episode of ECW from November the 22nd, 1994. Yeah, we skipped a couple of weeks, everybody. Because last week we did November to Remember. And then the two ECW shows, TV shows preceding that, had no new stuff. It was all stuff from November to Remember. There were some promos or what have you, but nothing substantial. So we skipped to November 22nd, 94.
I watched them anyway, man, and I totally agree.
Yeah, I skimmed them to see if there was anything worth discussing, but really there wasn't, that we hadn't already discussed anyway.
No, I mean, how dumb Sandman, just everything. It's just, yeah, we already went through all this, the recaps of all that nonsense. Let's get to some fresh shit, man.
No need to relive it again. We already relived it once.
Yeah. To the line. That's right. There's no other words to the song, dude. It's just to the line. The guy plays the Casio keyboard for 7.5 minutes. It's still to the line.
Well, we'll see if this episode gets taken down for a copyright violation.
He looks like Jimmy Garvin.
Do you think Toto's really going to fucking go out of the way?
I got a warning because we used that audio with Tommy Cairo.
The guy singing
like somebody in W
looks like Jimmy Garvin.
Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin?
Yeah.
Or my auto mechanic Jimmy Garvin?
Both.
Oh. Was it with the hair or without the hair?
It looks like Jimmy Garvin wearing a Jimmy Garvin wig.
Doing Jimmy Garvin?
Yeah.
Oh.
So basically, what you're saying right out of the shotgun is he already put a hat on a hat.
Toe the line. Yeah.
He towed the line. I guess.
Go ahead, sorry.
Well, for those of you that might get to listen to this show, we'll see if I get a copyright violation, and then we'll.
I'll.
How can you get a copyright violation from "Toe the Line"?
You'd be surprised.
Like, you know what? No, you can play the song. You can appeal that. I played "Toe the Line." There you go. And they're gonna go, no, that's Toto. You're like, I don't give a shit who it is. It's still fucking. it's still Toe the Line.
When there's a dole in the show, I'm just gonna play it.
Well, I mean, you still have to convince what 7 out of a jury that it's the same song. No, it's not. It's not.
It's just Aaron playing it on his porch.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron on the porch
playing his guitar. So before we
get into this nonsense,
before we get into the nonsense of ECW, which I actually didn't mind the show, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Let's do a paragraph here of Chad Austin's Wikipedia. We didn't do it last week because we were talking November to Remember, and I knew that was going to take forever. But all right. So the next section is Maryland Championship Wrestling, 2000 to 2003. The first paragraph, or the first sentence, in early 2000, Slavinsky started wrestling for Maryland Championship Wrestling. On January 19th, 2000, he teamed with wise guy Jimmy Cicero in a match for the then vacant MCW Tag Championships and lost to the Holy Rollers, Earl the Pearl and Rich Myers, is who they were, in a 3-way dance with the Bad Street Boys, Joey Matthews and Christian York in Glen Burnie, Maryland.
Wow, that must have been good.
Any memories of any of those guys? Jimmy Cicero is definitely a name that I know, and the Bad Street Boys too. Earl the Pearl, don't know Earl the Pearl.
Oh, Earl the Pearl's he's the glue of this whole match because at that time frame, Earl was like one of the head trainers from what used to be MCW School Bone Breakers.
Mm-hmm.
And he was one of the guys that came out of the class that I taught. He was one of our prize students. Earl could work, and he had the same problem that I had. You know, he wasn't big enough and just didn't have the look. And that mustache that he had didn't help him either. I don't know what the hell that was going. But I mean, it wasn't a mustache that he was like grooming, you know, like he was trying to grow out. You know, when he was that pre-pubescent mustache.
So he just looks like a creep.
Yeah, it was the mustache that he just never realized that he's ready to start shaving yet. Yeah, it was like, all right, enough with that one. Come on. But literally, that kid could work, man. And I bet at any given time that kid could still work.
Yeah, I'm honest to God. I don't know that I've ever seen. I don't know if I've ever seen him work. I mean, I think I recognize the name from maybe like PWI or something once in a while from results, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen the guy.
Well, you know, I think that's kind of the reason why I never really made the the 500, because they would rather put guys like Earl to Pearl in there. You know, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to hear the reason why I never made a 500.
Well, the next time I'm on a Resi show, I'll ask Bob Smith because he wrote it. So,
well, when's the next time you're going to be on that guy?
I was on the show last week, and I think I'm going to be on the show probably in another couple months. So, I'll remember to shake down Bob Smith on why he never put you in the PWI 500.
Is the Resi going to toe the line?
Let's see here. On April 14th, Chad became the MCW Cruiserweight Champion in Annapolis by defeating Adam Flash and Quinn Nash in an elimination match.
Oof. I remember working them guys. We said Adam Flash and Quinn Nash.
Yes.
Quinn was at this point, I think he was a bringback, like from previous a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam was already there, but I think he had a new gimmick. And to me, the new gimmick, it was a great looking gimmick, like for TV kind of thing. Cause he had like this, you know, this flashy little, you know, singlet and everything that had like a little Adam thing around his crotch or whatever. But I was like, all right, well, it looks great, but you're still 177 pounds.
Right.
You still got to do something with it. He didn't toe the line. That's all I can tell you.
I know what the name of this episode is.
No shit.
Around this time, Chad and kayfabe brother Chip Bowman joined Cicero's heel stable Total Quality Management with MCW Tag Champions Q-Ball Carmichael and Dino Divine.
To the line.
The last sentence here. 2 weeks later, Chad and Chip joined Cicero in a 6-man tag match against King Kong Bundy and the Ghetto Mafia, Two Dope and Sideswipe in Lusby, Maryland on April 29th. Is that the night King Kong Bundy broke your couch?
Where's the show at?
Lubsby, I think is
that?
I don't know.
Lusby. All right, Lusby? I got you. There's probably an 85% chance that was the show. Because if it wasn't that show, that was. If that wasn't the show, it was the night after. Mm. Was that a Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Oh no, it was the next night. I mean, it was the next night that Lennox Lewis fought on pay-per-view. Because I mean, we had Bundy for maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then maybe Sunday, maybe even. I mean, you can't get a star like that for like $450 a night,
right?
You know, I mean, you know, you got to take advantage of that, especially when you're doing sold shows, you know, in front of 1,200, whatever, 1,000 people, and you're getting WWE superstar,
yeah,
King Kong Bundy. What? He ain't been on TV, and the last time he was on TV, didn't he have a penny on his? No, it was Nikolai. All right, well, same person.
Bundy was in that faction around the same time, so yeah, I mean your date is correct. He left it. He was last time he had been in the WWF was 95, and this is what we're talking about, 2000. So 5 years since he's been on TV. He's a guy that I always wondered. What?
He always sucked.
Who, Bundy?
Yeah, I was never a big Bundy fan.
I don't think he always sucked. I think that he always knew his role.
Yeah,
I mean,
listen to like shoot interviews with him and shit. He's funny, and like you said, he knew his role, but just in general, I was just never a big fan.
Oh, neither was I. I mean, I went back and I watched. I mean, not that I've watched him, but I'd watch some old World Class and I'd see him there and be like, yeah, there's not a whole lot here. You know what I mean?
He was, and we'll get into the ECW show then. I know we're getting off in the weeds on Bundy here, but I always wondered why, when the big exodus happened, where Hogan went to WCW, and he took Earthquake, he took Kamala, he took all those people from WWF to work with as the Giants for him to pretty much redo his WWF run in WCW. Why Bundy never showed up? I wonder why. Always wondered why he never went to WCW.
I think Bundy had, I don't want to say underlining heat. I think he had, I'm not even sure if I should even, I don't even, I mean, do you know that he married like a Chinese woman, like off the internet?
I did not know that.
Yeah. He got a female bride like off the internet or whatever, and then she started taking care of I mean, this is all coming from me, like my dealings with Bundy and all them, because we were on the same shows, like for a lot of shows,
right?
And we had to deal with some fucking Japanese girl all of a sudden that was dealing with Bundy's bookings.
It's like Bundy's Yoko Ono.
Dude, she was Bundy. She was Bundy Ono.
Bundy Ono. Yoko Bundy.
Yeah, she didn't that was her gig, and then everybody looked at her like, "Are you in the business?"
She's like, "I'm in the King Kong Bundy business, bitch."
Remember the episode of Seinfeld where Seinfeld met Pat Cooper?
Yeah.
When at the Friars Club, when he goes, "Are you in the business?" No, it was George. "Are you in the business?" And he's like, "No." And I go, "What are you targeting me for?" Like, you're not in the business. I ain't dealing with this girl. But enough of Bundy.
Bundy had a little Chinese wife.
Can you imagine that little sex tape?
Yeah.
Can't see her at all.
You see her before, but you don't see her after.
Like, this looks like egg drop poop.
Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. The ECW show that we're reviewing is November 22nd, 1994.
Imagine King Kong Bundy fucking Oriental tea and bagging his fucking Oriental wife. That's gross.
I know. Why did you bring it up?
Yeah. I can't even. I don't think it ever happened. I bet you it's never happened. Ever. I bet you even Wild Bill Trammell can't even pull up a tape of that. I don't know if you know who that is, but
ECW, November 22nd, 1994.
Chad, the only thing he did not break was your couch. I'm sure he broke that woman.
Wild Bill Trammell or King Kong Bundy?
King Kong Bundy probably broke that Oriental woman.
He broke my futon.
Well, yeah, and he probably broke Chuchan or whatever that Oriental lady's name was.
Chuchan? Oh, Chuchan.
Well, we start the show with Hack Myers and Steven Richards in the ring. They're going to pick dream partners for this match. As Joey Styles is hyping us that the ECW arena is sold out, he's looking around like he's there. And, that's the gimmick. But the gist of this is they get to pick dream partners. Stevie Richards picks JT Smith, and Hack Myers picks our own Chad Austin to be his tag team partner.
No, let's not forget the fact that it had to be somebody who was already not picked on the show tonight. They made a big deal to say that, because if Hack Myers would have just picked me out of anybody in the locker room, then it would have been a lot worse of a boo or a lot less of a nothing than it was. So you got to premise it by saying that, right?
Yes, they had to pick somebody that wasn't booked already to wrestle.
And how the fuck did anybody in ECW arena know who the fuck was already ready to wrestle? Were they given a lineup? It was Chad Austin like 5 times. It was just Chad Austin, and it just had a line next to his name. Like 5 times.
The match itself never gets started as Chad cuts a promo on the ECW crowd. He's not going to wrestle here tonight, and he's got a nice big tour bus waiting out back to take anybody who wants to go see Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And I mean, did it at least get some heat from the ECW crowd, Chad?
Oh, it did.
Yeah, it did, because that was the weekend that Smoky Mountain was running literally like less than 20 minutes away. Like Woodbury, New Jersey is literally about, I mean, there's probably one gas station that separates Woodbury, New Jersey and Philadelphia. It's right there, because we were underneath 95, and all you had to do was get on 95, and then 10 minutes later you were in New Jersey. And Woodbury is one of the first places you're going to get in New Jersey before you get on that 13-mile stretch where there's no exits, before you get lost. Which is, that's not even that's a shoot like a motherfucker, dude. You get lost in the Jersey Turnpike, you're finished. So yeah, that was a shoot.
And did you have any, like, I'm sure you didn't, but did you have any kind of legit, like, blowback from going to work for Cornette?
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, you saw the rest of my ECW career. Yeah, you tell me. That was the only reason why I was even brought back, was because of what I did. There was no chance I was getting brought back. As a matter of fact, I mean, didn't we already bring this up on the show before, where after I worked for Smoky Mountain, I got home and my mom told me in Knoxville that there was a phone call from a guy named Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that fast. I don't know how before the internet happened that it happened that fast, but it happened that fast. Like, I went to work for somebody else. But honestly, how the hell was I not supposed to work? How was I not supposed to work for somebody else? I'm 24, 25 years old maybe at the time, and I'm trying to get out there and work as many places as possible and do as much as I can. And then you're telling me that you're going to tell me that I can't work for this guy because I'm working for you. But what am I doing for you?
Well, I'm sure I can. I'm sure I'm not going out on a limb here saying that Paul Heyman never presented you with a contract.
A contract?
Yeah, that's you have no contract. You don't owe them anything. You can go work wherever the fuck you want, in my opinion. No,
I mean, in Paul's defense, though, without a physical contract, a handshake to me was always like the way we did business.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we did business. But it wasn't until we're getting there. We're not there yet. I mean, unless there's people there that I don't know that have said contracts, and it's probably Sabu for dates or Benoit for said dates, but there's nobody under contract. They can only work for ECW.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, it was never offered to me. And why would it be? Like, Paul's going to be like, we only want you to get chokeslammed by 911. We're going to do our best to hold you under contract so you go up and down. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. As this segment rolls on, as Chad is trying to get people to go to Smoky Mountain on his tour bus, he tries to get Hack Myers to go with him. Egging Hack to come on, let's just leave, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, Hack Myers subsequently beats up Chad Austin.
Think of his life. Where did he end up?
You're still breathing.
When's he going to be on the show?
Stevie Richards and JT Smith then wind up getting to Chad and pinning him, winning the match. And then after the match, the beatdown by Hack Myers continues. But, I mean, again, like we said, saying you're going to go to Smoky Mountain, at least you got some heat in the arena that night.
I mean, I think that angle could have been a little hotter. It could have got hotter, right?
Especially if you could have got maybe a couple of guys that also worked there.
Well, not only Smoky Mountain, but me going to Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
I could have brought in PG-13. I could have brought them in because they were already there. I could have brought in
Doug, like a Doug Gilbert.
I don't know. Yeah, Doug, but Doug was already there. I could have brought in what's his name? Oh my God, the guy who did the fucking. He looked like a snowball salesman. He was a magician dude.
Oh, Spellbinder.
Yeah, I could have brought him in. The snowballer.
Harry Del Rios.
I could have brought any of them fucking goofs in. I mean, I think so, but but anyway, nonetheless, that's just the way that it worked. Is that Paul wasn't going to spend money in bringing them fucking goofs in, and I wasn't worth the time or the effort to do that, for that angle, because he knew that was a short shelf life angle,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it. I mean, as far as I know, I did it as good as I could have done it. Granted, today, being as much as I don't give a fuck about life anymore today, that if I would have had to do it again, I could have got a lot more heat back then. But
the promo, from what I saw, the promo was good. It was, but we're still in that era where the microphone on TV is so hard to hear. A lot of the time, you can't make out. But from what I made out intelligent, what was legible that I could hear, the promo was good. You hit all the key points, and you didn't miss a beat. So
I don't think any of that was. Honestly, I don't think any of that was Paul. Because if I had to remember promos, that was not probably the best thing for business.
Mm-hmm.
So it was probably to say, hey, look, just go out there and shit on these people, I mean, for lack of a better term, you know what I mean? Just go out there and just shit on them, and all right. And then I guess the high spot was what, the tour bus?
Yeah.
I have a tour bus going to Smoke, because Smoky Mountain was literally 20 minutes away.
Aaron, your thoughts on this segment before we move on?
I thought it was really good, and Chad did a good job in it, and I liked the Smoky Mountain aspect of it, and it was like them somewhat shitting on the, I want to say minor league company, but like the independent company they were feuding against.
But everybody there knew what Smoky Mountain Wrestling was.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I was making up some. I wasn't saying everybody get on the bus and let's go down to North Georgia Wrestling with Sammy Kent, and the doll.
It was an insider angle, and it worked. And it worked with that crowd because they knew what he was talking about, and I enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad you did, because I enjoyed not even remembering of it until I watched
it. Well, up next we get a promo from Jason with Dean Malenko, who talks about how he's going to be defending his title in the ring. Then we go to the ring, obviously, and Todd Gordon comes in as Jason and Malenko are in the ring awaiting Too Cold Scorpio, and he tells Dean Malenko he has to go, he has to get out of here, or Jason will be fired. He'll not have the title anymore. He'll not be allowed to wrestle in ECW anymore. So what I thought was kind of funny was as Malenko was leaving, the Pit Bulls were walking out. Like Jason thought he was going to get away with that. Like, I don't know. I thought it was amusing.
My favorite thing was that kid. I showed you guys that. I sent you guys that clip. That kid going, "You're a greasy pig."
See, I never got that. So when you texted me that, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I thought you were talking about me. Just because I went for a job interview today and I didn't take a shower?
Jason is standing in the ring, and a child yells at him, "Shut up, you greasy pig." And it fucking cracked me up. It was so funny.
Well, apparently it holds water. I mean, Aaron's holding a grudge about it. Greasy fucking pig.
Well, then, of course, like I said, the Pit Bulls come out, and Gordon also says that they're banned from ringside. And then I guess I jumped the gun because Jason didn't know he was waiting for Too Cold Scorpio, because he says, go ahead, bring out Dino's send-off, bring out Donnie Allen, bring out Chris Kanyon. And, of course, Todd Gordon brings out Too Cold Scorpio to face Jason for the TV title. But I thought this little pre-match thing was fun. It was fine. Entertaining.
The match was rough.
Yeah, the match was rough.
if anything, it towed the line. That's all I can say. It just it carried the show for what we're about to see. I mean, yeah, pretty much. That's exactly what it did. It towed the line, and I don't know, man. I always tell you how I always sat with the jobbers and stuff. I never knew what was going on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew. You go up there and you look for your name on the board and you hope for the best, that it's like you against, the better guy. Nobody wants to be against Rock and Rebel again.
Right.
Or well, we already seen the last of Tommy C. That's what we'll call him now.
Tommy C.
Yeah, it's the end of Tommy C. We've seen enough Tommy C. He toed the line.
Well, like Aaron said, this match wasn't very good, and I didn't understand the reason for Scorpio keep letting Jason get up out of the pin.
Are we doing a show still?
Yes, Too Cold Scorpio beats Jason for the TV title, and he is the new ECW television champion. And I have a question here, actually. What did you guys think of that belt? I didn't like that belt without the side plates on it.
The TV title?
Yeah.
That was lame.
Well, honestly, I didn't like any of the belts, but the belts were made out of like fucking plaster, man. Like even with no side plates, they were 45, 50 pounds.
Jesus.
No, they were heavy. So, I mean, the plates were, they would have had to have been, I don't know, another extra 15 pounds, I guess, 7.5 pounds a piece to put on there. And that would have been, that's a lot of weight. That belt ain't something you just throw around like Shane did. Like Shane, how Shane just threw it around?
Mm-hmm.
Once you get it over your shoulder, yeah, you can throw it off your shoulder, but the problem is getting it over your shoulder. Fuck, you realize when you pick it up, but this belt ain't fucking, ain't garbage.
And I would think it would be if it's that heavy, it would be a pain in the ass even to clip it around your waist. Try to hold it up while you're doing the clips or the snaps,
Yeah, that goes back to who the fuck's going to carry it. I used to hate that, man. When I'd work for a company and then I would win their like said tag team belts or whatever belt that I won, and they would expect me to carry their belt around in this little, I don't know, what was it? A little case that was made out of like, not suede, but like wrestling.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Like a little, not a knapsack, but
yeah, and they want you to carry it around. I'm like, dude, I don't want to be responsible for this. I don't want to have to carry this thing around. So I never ever wanted to have a belt ever, unless I was wrestling like in my local town where I could just take it and just leave it there, and Whipwreck would take it to the next town. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Just one more goddamn thing to lose.
Yeah, or forget.
Yeah.
Like, what if I'm packing my fucking suitcase and I'm going to a bought show somewhere where there's 2,000 people, and then I'm supposed to be the Mid-Atlantic heavyweight world champion of the Eastern Seaboard of the Middle East or whatever. And I don't have a belt to prove it. The belt could say anything. It could say that I was the Asian Chinese dinner. I won a fucking man versus food challenge. It didn't matter. They could have said it was anything. Total lie.
Next thing on this show.
Hang on, rewind it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Shane Douglas defending the ECW title against Jim Powers.
Big get.
The note that I have before that is before the match actually starts, they show a promo from Ron Simmons, and it's a good promo. But did anybody else notice that he never mentioned the name? He never said ECW in the promo, and he never said Shane Douglas's name. It was almost like this was a promo he cut that he could send to any indie promotion.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and beat you tonight. I'm going to go out there and beat you. I want to be the world champion. But he never said ECW. He never said Shane Douglas. It was just interesting to me. It was like that he recorded this promo and he sent it out to any promotion he was working with at the time.
No, that was a very good observation. That was a very good observation, Nate. Because go ahead. You have a point, Aaron?
No, I was saying Nate made a great valid point on it.
Yeah, he was under no contract by anybody at that point. So he only had limited dates for ECW. And at that point, I don't know if he knew what the end result was, whether he knew he was going to end up putting over Shane or, or whatever.
Right.
I don't even know what the end result was. So why would I go out there and put over my opponent that I don't even know is going to beat me? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I can look at it from he's Ron Simmons. He's, damn. What are you going to fuck with him?
He's, according to him, like he told Flair, he's unfuckable. So,
well, I mean, I don't know about that point, but maybe a couple of years later, yeah, he was unfuckable. But there, he wasn't going to do what he wasn't going to do, and I don't blame him for it. That's not even a slight on him, because what if I would have said, I'm done taking the choke slam, Paul? You know what I mean?
Right.
He's not Ron Simmons. He's going to go in there and say, this is what we want from you. This is the 3-month plan. It was definitely a 3-month plan, because we're in December, right?
No, yeah, almost December. We're late November, yeah.
Okay, so we still got a whole entire month where Ron Simmons was a key player, as far as I know, because I was still there, and he just wanted to realize, what's my deal,
Right.
And didn't that go back to the Blanchard shit?
Blanchard is, I believe, as far as Douglas going through guys coming into ECW that weren't necessarily ECW guys. I think after Simmons is when he goes into the thing with Blanchard. I believe
it's a couple months away.
Yeah, but it's all the same problem, correct?
Yes.
Why am I going to put your champion over if you're not going to put me over and bring me back, for a run? Well, this is Philadelphia. They don't want to see you for 3 months. I mean, that's the truth. That's not anything that, I don't know what Paulie told him, I have no idea.
Right.
But what do you think he told him? Well, this is what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the way that worked. But next.
The match between Douglas and Jim Powers.
See, what I was going to ask was, Chad, like, what do you think a Ron Simmons was paid?
Oh, what do I think?
Yeah,
I bet you he was in $1,500 to $2,000 range. If that was for one night, I would bet you he would have done maybe $750 like per night if it was for 3 nights or 2 nights. My guess. At that time range in 1994. Yeah, that's about what that's about what them guys were getting back then, because you had to have been a top guy, Flair-esque guy to be getting, Brett, you're not going to get a guy like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's not going to happen. I mean, the best you're going to get is the guy that was there, in recent memory, that you're going to get you're going to get $750 for, maybe. I mean, Ron Simmons probably got way more than I'm probably lowballing him, because
he's not even at this point. He's not even 6 months off WCW TV.
Yeah, but he's also not a wrestling fan.
Right. Yeah. True.
And that's the kind of thing that skews the curve about how much you get, because he might not be in it for the love of it. He just wants to do the business. Mm-hmm. And the business this is what I need to come in from Warner Robins, Georgia, whatever the fuck that is. Fucking Podunk town that place is. I saw it on YouTube. It's one of the worst neighborhoods in America.
Well, Shane Douglas beats Jim Powers in a pretty basic match here on this show by holding the tights and gets the roll up. Did you ever work with or know Jim Powers, Chad?
No, but my question is, what do you think Paul's mindset was by bringing in Jim Powers, and what do you think he was going to get out of Jim Powers from the crowd and from the work rate?
I think it was just he was in Jersey or a Jersey era, like a Jersey, I shouldn't say era, like a New York, New Jersey region, and he had him and he used him.
Yeah, but why didn't he use him before?
And how silly does it look? How silly does something like this make the whole? Okay, we've talked about Shane Douglas is challenging Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart. Nobody will come accept his challenge.
But Jim Powers did?
So how silly does he look, or how silly does the company look when it's like none of these guys will come accept the challenge, but Jim Powers will? Like the job guy from the WWF, he'll accept the challenge.
Well,
I don't know. And maybe I'm missing the point there, but it does. It makes Douglas look stupid. It makes the whole thing look stupid.
Well, I think personally, that Paul thought pretty much the same thing he thought about Jason, is that he could make the fans forget about, Jim Powers being a job guy. I believe in my core that I think Paul thought if he brought him in, he could push him and make the fans forget that he was just the job guy that he was. And then if they didn't, he could run with the idea that he's a job guy that people don't think that he's not a job guy that everybody thought was.
Right.
I mean, do you see the idea?
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Because I mean, for any good or anything good or anything bad you can say about him, Powers had a good look, So I mean, you look at that as a wrestling promoter, and maybe you do think, maybe I can do something with this guy. And then you hear him talk.
I've never heard a bad thing about him.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of. I mean, me personally, I've never heard a bad thing.
But he wasn't a bad worker. As far as he was fairly basic, but he never did anything that stood out to me. But he also never did anything where I went, Jesus Christ, that's terrible. He didn't stink or anything. He just, I don't know.
Well, to me, it was because he was pigeonholed. Everybody in that arena had seen him do jobs for the last 5 years on TV, and that's where he was delegated to. That's the exact reason why I never went and did jobs for WCW with Bob Starr,
because you didn't want to get typecast.
Yeah, and that's the way it works. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the 1990s. How many Smoky Mountain Wrestlings are you going to catch? Or how many USWAs are you going to get? You know what I mean?
Right.
You're only going to get so many opportunities to work after you've been on a national TV spotlight platform and you're projected as a job guy. And, what was his name? Remember the Gambler?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Gambler's my favorite. He is actually my personal favorite WCW jobber.
Yeah, but he worked. How many outlaw mud show places did he work where he got a push or he was kind of a semi-star, because he was on TV.
Right.
I mean, to a lot of guys, that meant a lot. To me, it didn't mean shit, honestly.
And not even saying like Gambler. It's like Jim Powers got put in that fucking like Joey Maggs type cast. You know what I mean? Yeah,
but Joey Maggs lived down the street from me. I didn't even know it. He lived down the street from me, and Bob Starr was like, "Yeah, you know about Joey Maggs passing away?" And I'm like, "What?" You're like, "He lives in your neighborhood." I'm like, "I don't know, I don't know. He's Joey Maggs." I mean, what? Is he the guy that just detailed my car? I guess that $5 tip wasn't going to help him very much.
It made Mag's detailing make all the sense in the world.
Yeah, but you understand what I'm saying about how perception is everything.
Yeah.
Once you're typecast like that, you're always going to be typecast like that, and that's the way everybody looked at it. And a lot of them guys didn't matter. Like look at Dwayne for Christ's sake, Dwayne Gill. He made as much money. He made as much money as just say Bill Irwin. He made Bill Irwin money, Yeah. But it was a lot more coming from a different era,
Right. Yeah.
And that mean, what would you do? Say no? What else are you going to do? Clean beer lines? Stock dairy? Look for a job? No, that's my life. Never mind.
Aaron, what did you think of the Powers Douglas match?
I thought it was a very basic match, and they didn't do anything that was bad or anything. They just had a basic northeastern
independent
match.
Yeah, I mean what were you going to do? I mean, are you going to tell Jim Powers, who's used to working Strikeforce and the Conquistadors on Challenge every week. You know, like we have a whole different concept here. I mean, he was brought in, I'm guessing, just for that point. I mean, for lack of a better care, I guess.
He was easily booked, and he was an easily booked guy for that show, and he wasn't going to have a fucking shit match with Shane.
And it wasn't going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I see that. And why wouldn't you bring him in? Because he was there for the whole entire weekend, as far as I remember. There's no way he brought him in for one night.
The next thing we get here is a Paul E promo talking about how when he was a fan, or when he was, before ECW, he would look in the corner, or he would look in the locker room and say, that's the Malenkos. That's what wrestling is. Those guys are wrestlers. But now he's talking about, because ECW, because they keep pushing this tagline during this show, feel the difference. Feeling the difference of ECW, he now knows that the future is Sabu and the Tasmaniac, which leads us to a tag match. It is Sabu and the Tasmaniac against Dean and Joe Malenko.
Yeah, I don't know how receptive the ECW crowd was live to Joe Malenko as it was to the audio on the show. You tell me. What do you think?
I think he sold weird.
I don't think he knew how to work, because I only have like one match on tape from them in Florida as a team, and it was from like 1988, 89, and you would think that he brought his brother along because he drove him or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not being mean. That's just the way that it felt. It was like, all right, my brother's here. Can you just give him a payday? And what is his credentials? He lived near the Malenko School of Wrestling.
They are Dean and Joe to me, and there are going to be people that would say that it's blasphemy. Well, it's not on this show. It's blasphemy to shit on Dory Funk, but to me, it's like Terry and Dory. I'll watch Terry all day long. I don't want to watch Dory Funk. I just don't. And the story. I don't care. 1970, fucking whatever. He was the greatest wrestler in the country. Blah blah. I don't want to watch Dory Funk, but I'll watch Terry all day long.
Like it's like the classic. You watch. All right, we'll just take Terry and Dory versus Sheik and Abby. All right, just take that match for example from All Japan. Terry's out there. He's punching Abdullah. Abdullah's leaning on the ropes like he always does, and all of a sudden he tags in Dory, and then Abby tags in the Sheik or whatever, and the Sheik goes for like an arm bar, or Dory goes for like an arm bar. It's like, what are you doing? Like, the guy's mauling your brother.
Yeah, do you feel the vibe of this match at all?
Didn't you watch I Like to Hurt People? He's mauling your brother out there, and you come in, you got to try to give him a hammerlock. It was probably because Marty was outside the ring yelling hammerlock.
With this Malenko match, like every time Joe would get any kind of bump, he would just kind of like scurry out of the ring. It was just like, it didn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Sabu early in the match or halfway through kind of takes Joe to the outside and does the Sabu one-man show against Joe. And then they let Taz and Dean work in the ring, which was good stuff. And
how good is Dean at like running the ropes and like doing what they call transition spots?
Oh, he's one of the top 5 guys ever to do it.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't he be a guy you wouldn't learn that shit from? Like, because where did he always land? Center of the ring.
Yeah, right in the middle.
And where did he always position up to? Camera. Boom. It wasn't even like he had to tell the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know if it was a Japan thing or somebody told him, but yeah, like he took a bump in the middle of the ring, which is the safest spot in the ring, and he would always get up right in front of the hard camera, and he would feed.
Yeah, he was as natural a pro wrestler as Kurt Hennig. He was that good at what he did.
I guess I guess that whole entire personality thing just didn't work out for him.
Mm-hmm. They said he's funny as shit when the camera's not on, but as soon as the light comes on.
Well, there's a lot of guys like that. Dreamer, a lot of guys are like that. But me, I made a fucking whole entire career out of fucking taking my clothes off on national television. What do I give a shit?
This, like I said, the match when it was Taz and Malenko in there doing their thing, it was good stuff. Taz winds up pinning Dean after a Tazplex. Aaron or Chad, any other observations about the match before we go into the post-match shenanigans?
Aaron, go ahead.
Well, just that Dean Malenko, in my opinion, is one of the I know we talked about it a little bit, but he's one of the top 10 best wrestlers that have ever existed, in my opinion. Like Dean knew exactly what to do when it needed to happen. You know what I mean?
I disagree. I don't even think Dean Malenko is in my top 25,000. It doesn't matter how good you are in the ring. It's how good you are with the crowd.
But I think he knew how to work a crowd too, though.
I don't think he did. I think he learned it about 15 minutes into that fucking match.
Well, not this match, just as in general, like Dean Malenko is or was like a duck to water. Like he just knew what to do when it happened.
I don't know. I mean, I just never I'd never seen a crowd go banana for Dean Malenko anything, and except for we haven't even got there yet. But I'm not even sure that's even on the that's not even like a huge spot on my meter as like huge spot things. But him and Guerrero, that stupid fish out of water spot. Who hadn't done that shit 25 times? Dude, I mean, go to a wrestling school. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see it, Aaron. I'm sorry. Nothing against your opinion at all, because I just don't. I just never saw it. Never saw it. Never got it. And it is what it is. And sorry for your luck, Dean Malenko.
Okay. I just think Dean's one of the best goddamn performers I've ever seen in wrestling, in my opinion.
Yeah, but doesn't transfer in the fucking box office. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to do both. I mean, you got Hulk Hogan that could do one but couldn't do the other, and you got Bob Backlund that could do one that couldn't do the other. But you got Ric Flair. What could he do? He could do both. Shane Douglas, for a lack of a lesser extent, he could do both, right?
Yeah.
In ECW, in ECW, he could, yeah.
Well, that's my measuring stick right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going by ECW. He could do ECW and be in, and do WCW and be as fucking corny and wear the fucking stupid mask with Ricky, whatever, Dreamboat, whatever tag teams were. What do they call it? Enchiladas?
I'm blanking on that. What the fuck did they call themselves, Aaron?
Los Sombreros.
Was it Los Sombreros? It was, yeah, of course, it's WCW. Of course, it's something so pedestrian.
It's the cheapest Mexican name you could possibly give somebody.
It's one step above calling them the Mexicans. Yeah.
Yeah. or the Guerreros. We found two more Guerreros.
Here's chips and salsa.
Jeez,
All right. After this match, then the real shit goes down. Jason attacks Paulie. 911 comes to the ring, tries to chokeslam Jason, doesn't get to do that, but he instead gets to chokeslam the Pitbulls. And then the Public Enemy come out, and as the Malenkos work over Taz in the corner, stretching him out, the Public Enemy essentially fucks Sabu up for like 5 minutes. I thought this was very effective. I thought that this was it was chaotic. It was energetic. In a way, it put everybody involved over because even though Taz is down on the mat with the Malenkos, he eventually breaks away from them and gets to make the save for Taz. I think everybody came out of this end segment looking better and with a purpose. I don't know what you guys thought, but that was my thought on it. I thought I liked it.
Well, I still think this is the beginning of the Sabu Taz build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you had that little look, wasn't it? You said it was a little look.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is this guy doing? I'm beating the shit out of these guys. And you're over here jumping around like a little Mexican jumping bean, and you're trying to outdo me. Yeah, that's the way I took it. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I
No,
saw
definitely. Paulie, and they don't wind up having a one-on-one match until '97, right? I know they already had one in the past, but you're definitely right, Chad. Paulie is looking at these two guys as these guys are the future of my company. Even though I have Douglas, even though I have Dreamer, these two are my two attractions, two stars. And I'm going to eventually, this is going to be my big match. This is going to be what I'm building to. And he builds it for a long time, and he has a lot of patience in doing so. Of course, Sabu coming and going like he did helped keep Paulie's patience. But you're definitely right about that.
Well, it was probably the best for business, Sabu coming and going. Because do you think Sabu would have had the staying power or the drawing power?
Right. Cornette says, "How can I miss you if you don't go away?"
All right. Well, I'll take that. If Cornette said it, then it's got to be the gospel. I mean, in my book, without Sabu for just what do you say, 2 months or 3 months? There's no Sabu, and then every show, what are you gonna have? Who's the guy you're gonna bring out? Sandman. And then every time you take a guy away, you have to make another guy.
Right.
And then there you go. Now we got, I don't even know if Sandman's up yet, but you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to make another guy. So, yeah. So Sabu at this point was worldwide? Japan all the time and making as little as much money as he could at that time. Because let's be honest, there wasn't a whole lot of money he made. I don't even give a fuck what he tells you. Them FMW tours and shit like that, whatever, $5,000 a week and stuff like that. After you go to Japan and you transfer that yen into American dollars, you ain't getting paid but $100 a night.
Right.
So yeah, you can go there and tell everybody you're making $20,000 a week yen. I would say I'm making $20,000 a week then, because I don't even know what that means. But I go to McDonald's and I pay like $285 for a Big Mac.
285 yen for a Big Mac,
and that's without a cheese.
Aaron, what did you think of all these post-match shenanigans?
Well, it is slowly becoming the ECW that
Steal my gimmick.
We've been talking about. Like you can see the influence of Paul on the product.
Well, we've already talked about this over and over again. Like now you've already seen the exit of what's his name? Stetson, Rebel,
yeah,
Cairo. Were they on the show?
No,
nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, and that's where they're wrestling at right now. The nowhere to be seen company.
That November to Remember pay-per-view or Mega Show or whatever we talked about, like that was Paul's coming out party. You know what I mean?
Good one, Aaron. Good one. Paul's coming out party.
We're not talking about what happened with the Grand Wizard.
No. We're not going to the Grand Wizard. That was Paul's coming out party in the wrestling business.
But what I'm saying is,
good night. All right,
we are really getting into the ECW that we understand as being ECW.
I agree. I mean, for lack of
like we're going into 95 now, so this shit's gonna get it's gonna get fucking good, like really fucking good.
Well, I mean, just look at our roster right now. We've already gotten rid of, like we already said, the Kairos, the Rebels, them guys. Almost basically you can say the Pitbulls to a certain extent, right? We've gotten rid of so many of the local guys, and you're not going to see JT like as much anymore.
You're going to see, you're going to see guys that they were kind of pushing as up in the main tier wrestlers move down the card. You know, like you're not going to see Jason as a title contender anymore. Jason's just going to become a personality and a manager. You know, things like that. Even people that Paulie's going to keep aren't necessarily going to be in the same role they were in, because it's time for them to move down the card because we're getting better quality talent at the top of the card.
Yeah.
And it's also cheaper talent.
Yes.
I mean that's not even a thing. You look at that like, yeah, dude, why can't I get these 5 to 7 guys that are local guys, and they've already been established in this territory, which is, I'm not saying is a big territory, but they've already been established here. Why can't we use them to get somebody else over?
Exactly.
You always use somebody to get somebody else over. I mean, I've never had a problem. Like, I've never understood that. I never will. When somebody has a problem with doing a job because they're trying to get somebody else over because they think it's going to take away from their, like, you know, like Jim Ross, their push.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting a push. Who said you were getting a push? You know, where was the word used at? Show me the person that said the word push. And everybody at that caliber, you know, the JT Smiths, the me's, I'll put myself in there. What do you think we did? We went there thinking, all right, well, I know I'm winning the title. I know I am.
Well, and isn't it more beneficial for somebody saying let's just use your status on the card? Isn't it more beneficial for you if the promoter sees somebody and the fans see somebody that they really like, and the promoter wants you to put him over because that guy's on his way up? Isn't it more beneficial for you to cooperate? Because if that guy gets big and the company starts making money, everybody wins. You know?
Well, you would think, right?
There's a reason that in the 80s, everybody wanted to wrestle on the card Hogan was on. You know? So that's what I'm saying. If you can build some mega stars that are going to make some money, everybody's paycheck goes up.
Yeah, but we're talking about a whole different era now. Now we're talking about these guys think that they're the star. I mean, this is just my opinion from watching it and being around. Is everybody thinks that they're the star? And do you think that Sabu thought he was a lesser of a star than Shane Douglas?
Mm-mm.
Do you think that at this point where we're at with Sandman, do you think he was a lesser star than Shane Douglas? He's probably no. I'm just as over as that guy is.
Right.
So it's kind of like a catch-22, and then you got to deal with all them personalities, man. You know, that's got to be a pain in the ass. That's why I just have them all do jobs in 911 and start them all over again. Just go out to the ring, cut your spiel. Bam, 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 bam. All right, thanks for coming, buddy.
Scorched Earth.
I'll call you in 3 months.
Scorched Earth. Start all over again. Yeah. Well, overall, guys, to close the show, what do we think? What did you think about this overall episode of ECW? I actually liked this episode of ECW. I thought it was pretty good.
B+.
Yeah, I found some segments enjoyable, but the stuff that I've already seen, I just like the way they re-shown it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Nate. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, and that is totally a good point. There, it used to be, as we're watching the show, and this is more of Paulie's influence, we used to joke recap championship wrestling because they would literally just play the video from last week.
They would just show the match again.
Right. But now we're getting it clipped up. It's highlights. There's some narration. There's music behind it. It's a whole different presentation to recap, to keep you abreast of what the situation is and the stories are.
You said abreast. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I think that's what's keeping you captivated and wanting to see, like, you know, what's next, because, you know, it's not giving you anything. It's I mean, how do you say this? It's giving you a taste of stick around, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, stick around, see this. It's only going to be better, you know?
Right.
it's only going to be better. And if you stick around, then give us another, I don't know, at ECW's point, 4 weeks until we have our next TV taping. Until we can bring in Mike Awesome again, I guess. Is Mike Awesome on the next set of tapings?
I don't think so. He doesn't come back till 95, does he?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just mad now.
Aaron, your final thoughts about this week's episode?
He don't have any thoughts.
I have thoughts. I thought it was a good show, and like I said, I'd give it like a B+. I enjoyed it.
I mean, did I get an Archie Mitchell joke off?
I don't think so.
If you want to get Archie Mitchell off, that's fine.
I thought if I didn't get an Archie Mitchell joke off earlier, then I apologize to my fans. Because you know my Twitter page is blowing up. It's fans of Archie Mitchell that I run. I got 14 followers.
One of them's name is Marchie Chitchell.
Yep.
There's a Mick Carchie Mitchell.
It's Chachi Marshall. Yeah, I denied that one. I see what's going on here.
All right, everybody. Well, speaking of Chad, follow him on Twitter at Chad Austin Demera. If you have not yet, join our Facebook group, Reliving the Extreme. And, of course, check out Archie Mitchell and If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking. And all the other shows. It's a good show,
man. By the way, I listened to the last show. I mean, you could tell, Nate, by the second download of the show. I thought it was pretty good.
The second download that popped me. Sorry. The If You Smell What the Arch is Cooking and all the other shows on the WrestleNet Radio Podcast Network. Check them out. We appreciate your listenership, and we will see you next week, everybody. Have a great week. Reliving the Extreme is a production of Maxing Out Media. All rights reserved.